Goeiedag aan al onze Erongo Talk kijkers. Mijn naam is Adolf en ik present hier van die Fine Art Gallery in Swakopmund. So, ik breng jullie die nieuws, die tijds en ook die getuien en ook Grumpy's se visvangverslag. Vandaag zijn onderhoud is met Toya Louw van die Twaloloka Aid Support and Kindness. En zij vertel ons bietjie oor die Swakopmund wat mensen helpen daar in Kuisebmond en Narraville. So moenie weggaan nie, ons kom weer nou terug. En nou vir die nuus hier in the Fine Art Gallery. Eerstens, Ramona Polton, 'n inwoner van Swakopmund, het 'n inisiatief van Stappel gestuur om 'n biduur te hou vir mense wat die stryd teen COVID-19 verloor het. So volgens Polton beplan sy om Erongo te vra om vir 5 minute inwoners van die streek se ligte af te skakel. Soos hy het gesê, ek wil Erongo vra om 8 uur in die aand die streek se ligte af te skakel en dit weer om 5 minute na 8 aan te skakel sodat die hele streek in die duisternis gevul kan wees, het sy gesê. So dit is nie die eerste keer wat kersse aangesteek word vir mense wat aan COVID-19 dood is nie. So sy het ook gesê, van my huis waar ek op my balkon gestaan het ek gesien hoe baie mense hul kersse aangesteek het. So dis 'n baie positief inisiatief wat Polton daar aanbied. En tweedens, die Twaloloka Aid Support and Kindness of Task is 'n nuwensgewende organisasie wat 3 keer 'n week kos aan behoeftige kinders van Narraville en Twaloloka voorsien. So die Swakopmund is in 2020 gestig, kort voor die inperking op Walvisbaai. So Toya Louw, een van die stigterslede, het verduidelik tydens die noodtoestand het sy en 'n paar vriende besluit om die kinders van Twaloloka kos te gee. So aangesien van Louw bestaan die span uit Roshida Lida Groenewald en Marshall Minel en ook Zelerse Yankee en Victoria Matthews. So baie positief nuus daar uit Walvisbaai. So jy kan gerus op ons webwerf gaan loer op www.erongo.com.na waar al hierdie stories en nog meer beskikbaar is. En jy kan ook vandag se Republikein gaan check. Ons het ook 2 blaaie daar van die Erongo wat al hierdie stories en ook die Grumpy's visverslag is en ook die
Okay, with me here is Toya Louw, who is from the Twaloloka Aid Support and Kindness. Toya, please tell us about the establishment of TASK. Where did it start? Where did the idea came about?
The idea of TASK came about just before lockdown. We were already starting to feed in the township. I think the state of emergency happened on the 17th of March last year.
Yes.
And then friends of ours, we decided together to come into Twaloloka and start feeding the children, and then there was the lockdown at the end of March.
Yes.
So we started then, and we used to only come in on a weekly basis. And then we started getting more and more friends to cook, to prepare food at home. And then, of course, we had that devastating fire in July, where I think there were something like 60 shacks that were burnt down. In
153.
Total. Yeah, something close to that. And then, over 1,000 people were left homeless, and they lost absolutely everything. We were actually here watching the fire that evening. It was really, really sad. And then we decided to step in and open up a soup kitchen and feed every day on a daily basis. And then I got more people together and got this team together.
Please tell us about who's your team. Please introduce them.
This is Zellarise. She's been with me for almost right from the beginning, and so is Vicky. In fact, Vicky's been with me from day one. Vistorina, Victoria. And you've just joined us recently. When did you join us? About 2 months ago?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Marshall. And then we have Rashida as well, and she's busy feeding in Narraville at the moment with the kids, as you saw earlier. She's there. So it's a team of 5 at the moment. I mean, people have come and gone, but at the moment we're 5.
Now, aside from task, what else do you do, Toya, and your team? Are you strictly focused on task?
I'd say most of my time is focused on task, but I teach yoga. I have a yoga studio in town, and I do about 8 classes a week for adults, and I teach children as well on a Friday afternoon, kiddies yoga with crafts.
Yes.
And if I can get some work as an English teacher, that's my job.
Awesome.
And these girls, I mean, they work for task only. They've been unemployed before that. So I'm really grateful to give them this work.
Yes, I mean, you're not only feeding, you're also giving employment at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Now, Toya, you used to feed every day, but now it's only 3 times a week.
Yes.
How does the day-to-day operations look like of task?
The girls come into the kitchen around 7 or 7:30, where the soup kitchen is based in Narraville.
Yes.
And they start cooking at around that time, because often we have frozen soup bones or frozen mince, and they have to defrost food because we have no fridges in the kitchen.
Yes.
We only have a deep freeze. So they start around that time, and then by 11 or so, then I come in with the bakkie, with the landy, with the bread on the back. And then we pick up the soup, and then we go and deliver it in all the different areas and feed the children.
Aha. Now tell me, how can the people get more involved? Or do you have like anchor sponsors that's sponsoring this feeding scheme?
My main anchor sponsor has been Gondwana for the bread, right from the word go. I have to thank them sincerely for that. But we get donations in from various people, and most of them, it's a one-off donation. And the hardest part, I must say, just talking about the money part, is to actually ask for money and to get the money in.
Yes. So how can the public sponsor? Can they come volunteer?
They can give us food vouchers, they can come and volunteer if they like, or they can just cook a pot of soup at home and give it to us, which will mean that we can feed more children.
Cool. Now, we still find ourselves in the COVID-19 pandemic. How has the task team been navigating the pandemic?
During the pandemic, especially at the beginning, it was more tricky for us to operate because we had the military driving around.
Yes.
So that made it a little bit of a challenge for us. But we would also sort of kind of manage with it, and then they got to know us, and it became a more sort of friendly scene because they knew that we were helping the people.
Exactly.
But we did have some moments, especially with the municipality then, that we were feeding, and the food wasn't quite going through the right sort of channels.
Yes. Now, just off the cuff, Toya, what is the most favorite part about doing this? What do you like the most? What motivates you?
Coming here and seeing the kids is what motivates me. Just seeing their faces. I mean, to be honest, sometimes I just think, like, what am I doing? It's taking up so much time. But actually, at the end of the day, the children love us and they love the food. It fills their bellies, and that's what makes us happy.
Yes, I was hearing one saying osopa, and guys were late, so...
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we drive through here and we hoot and they come running, and it's a great feeling. We feel really good about it, and everyone is so dedicated. I mean, so we just try to keep it going.
Cool. And then just finally, Toya, what is the vision of Task, and what would you like to tell the communities that you are operating in? What is your message?
I've got a long message.
Please read it for us,
If you
Toya.
don't mind, I'd like to read it because I only prepared it this morning.
No, it's cool.
We need to seriously understand the long-term devastation of unemployment and hunger that the pandemic is causing here in Namibia.
Yes.
Children that are underfed suffer from malnutrition and stunted growth.
Yes.
Already before COVID in 2020, 23% of Namibian children have stunted growth due to poor nutrition as well as other risks of health conditions. Hungry children are more likely to have learning difficulties at school and then later have health and performance challenges as adults. This can mean lifelong damage to their potential.
Yes.
So TASK believes that all citizens of Namibia in both private and the public sectors have a responsibility to address the issue of hunger in our communities. Our government of Namibia has the resources to help feeding schemes like TASK
Yes.
to become more sustainable. So we would love to see this initiative evolving into a public-private kind of partnership. We urgently need involvement from local authorities, and we're actually getting tired of empty promises. If we don't feed our children, we will be raising another generation of people who cannot contribute to social and economic growth of this country. Can we afford such a legacy? And then before I end, I would just like to thank certain people that have helped me right from the beginning.
Yes.
Firstly, Ivy, who got it going with me. And then the round table have stepped in and helped on frequently. And then mainly Gondwana, supplying us with bread. And just two friends, Kerry and Eamon, Katja and Nordea and their parents, the Dreyers, they've stepped in and helped often, they still do. RITC and their team, and then Kevin van Skalkbeek, and Yasmin, who was a yoga teacher here before, but she's left, and then also Maria Jose, a Spanish lady, who cooks for me.
Awesome.
So that's it. A very special thanks to a friend in the UK called Claire, who has also initiated this project for me and pushed me to keep it going. I thank you, Claire, for everything.
Awesome. Oh, then, and where can the people find you? Social media, Facebook, Instagram?
Social media, I've got a task page on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram under Toya Louw 098. I'm pretty much all over. Yeah.
Cool.
And I've also got a GoFundMe page now, and that's started bringing in a bit more money. I'm trying to get some people from overseas to donate, even if it's just €1.
Yes.
You know, €1 can feed 2 children.
Exactly.
$1 can feed 2 children, just about.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And now for the Grumpy's fishing report. So what an amazing week of fishing along the coast it has been. So Andrew van der Westhuizen, Louis Fanu and Judy Langenhoven went fishing at Canopy. And these anglers need no introduction at all to the fishing fraternity, as they are already legendary. So to put power behind that claim, they went out to prove a point, and wow, they did exactly that. The group went fishing at Canopy and quickly got stuck into some nice spotted gully sharks. Not the target species, but it's always a lot of fun to catch those strong fighters. So Andrew was on with a big spotty while walking up the high water mark. He saw something slither between his legs. Looking down, he saw, to his amazement, a Kunene shield cobra. An instinctive quick jump of records proportions, and Andrew was out of there. So thankfully, good fortune prevailed and Andrew was not bitten. After a good nervy laughs, the snake was taken into the desert to go along its way. Just shows you that we have an amazing coastline. And after the incident, the fishing continued and the trio got stuck into some decent steenbras. And when I say decent, I am talking about monster dicklipper, the biggest, weighing up to 18 kilograms. Well fished for sure. So let me generalize and tell you that the fishing, especially for Galjoen has been super. It didn't really matter whether you fished at Palkies or Langstrand or north of Swakopmund. If you fished with a bit of patience, you were rewarded with some great fish. So full moon just passed, and so did the spring tide and raw seas. Conditions will become normal again, and the fishing should be great. So to all anglers, tight lines, and until next time, stay tuned to Erongo Talk.
This week on Erongo Talk, we look at Muir Bay. Muir Bay was used as a harbor to offload mining equipment and personnel during the diamond rush between 1890 and 1914 and served as a logistics hub in later years. The only remaining hut now at Muir Bay, which has since been renovated by the Windhoek Underwater Club, served as an office and accommodation to the then transport manager of the Namakwa Diamond Company. The two last remaining surf boats used at the beginning of the last century along the Namabil coast are also lying at Muir Bay. These boats, being highly maneuverable, were used in West Africa to transport goods and passengers from ship to shore and vice versa. This area is also marked by whale bones originating from a whaling station that was located on one of the offshore islands. Join us again next week on Erongo Talk.
The Ongwediva Annual Trade Fair 2021 brings you exhibition excellence and will be taking place from 26 to 31 August at the Ongwediva Trade Fair Showgrounds. The theme this year is Gearing for a Smart Economy. This year, exhibitors have their option to showcase their products and services at the Ongwediva Trade Fair Showgrounds or virtually via a special trade fair website. Apply for a stand at www.oatf.com.na. Call 065 230 191. Email info@oatf.com.na. The Ongwediva Annual Trade Fair 2021 is proudly sponsored by MTC, FNB, Nedbank, Ongwediva Town Council.
Stay tuned to the tides and the weather forecast for all the major towns in the Erongo region. Alle goeie dinge kom aan 'n einde, maar ons is nog beskikbaar op ons webwerf. Dit is www.erongo.com.na en daar op ons webwerf kan jy al ons stories kry. Hulle is beskikbaar daar op www.erongo.com.na. So jy kan ons stories en meer op die webwerf kry. U kan ook gerus vir ons skakel op ons Telegram en ook op ons WhatsApp nommer. Dat is 0811 70040. So ek herhaal weer, dis 0811 70040. So, môre keer ons uit Walvis uit met 'n lekker show vir julle. Asseblief, ek wil dit vir julle sê, asseblief, maak seker julle sorg asseblief vir julle. Ons is nou in baie moeilike tye, so maak seker jy was jou hande gereeld, sit jou masker op en bly veilig. So van ek Adolf en die res van die Erongo span, ons sien julle weer môre.